This tutorial explains the requirements and recommendations for using the QA4MOBiLE software that users should be aware of before starting QA. The requirements to use QA4MOBiLE are that users must have a CRCSI account and be registered to an organisation that has a license for the QA4MOBiLE product. They then need to log in to use the software. To be processed as one project, every partial delivery must be integrated into one overall project directory, overriding superseded data. Full deliveries are standalone project directories. So, for example, you don't want to have different parts of the dataset in different directories. It all needs to be integrated into the one overall project directory. For large datasets that may need to be stored on multiple disks, this can be achieved using Windows symbolic links. Project directories should also only contain data as delivered by the provider. The tile layout must accurately represent the required point cloud data, i.e. for every tile of data there needs to be a polygon in the tile layout and vice versa. If the TMR naming conventions are not used, key term rules must be used in the file naming, otherwise QA4MOBiLE will be unable to identify data. So here's an example of the key term rules, which can also be found in the user manual. And file naming of tiled data must match one of the tile name search rules for QA4MOBiLE to identify tiled datasets. And again, examples which can be found in the user manual. The output folder selected must have sufficient available disk space, which is about 1/30th of the project size, must be located outside the project folder and separate to the work directory. Should be located on the local machine or a USB 3 connected external disk for increased speed, rather than a network or USB 2 connection. The work directory selected must have sufficient available disk space, so that's about 1.5 times the size of the LAS files, primarily for the point density per feature check. Must be located outside the project folder and separate to the output folder, and should be located on the local machine or a USB 3 connected external disk for increased speed, again as opposed to a network drive or USB 2 connection. Additionally, file and folder names should not contain spaces, and path names should be less than 256 characters. Project files should not be open in other software when running QA4MOBiLE, as access issues may occur. If data fails a check in the first check group with an error, it must be fixed and rechecked or removed in a new session created before rerunning the first check group, and then running the following checks only if everything passes, as it may cause subsequent checks to crash. The recommendations for using QA4MOBiLE are that the QA4MOBiLE tender and report forms are not required, but they are highly recommended. The recommended naming convention is TMR, and this is an example that can be found in the user manual, or the full list can be found in the TMR guideline. Once a QA4MOBiLE project is created, the data within the folders should not be renamed or rearranged, as project links will be broken. However, the user can create a new session to identify changes. Thank you for watching the QA4MOBiLE Requirements and Recommendations tutorial. For other tutorials, please visit the QA4MOBiLE YouTube channel.